Okay, so today we will talk about lists, and list is another data structure in R that, in contrast, it's a data structure that can hold or can store multiple values. So like vectors, like matrices and data frames, lists is another data structure that multiple values can be stored. Now, in contrast to vectors, for example, and to matrices, lists can handle data of different type. So the main feature of lists is that you can store their different types of data. So if we go back to code, a list, let's call a list A is a list, so this is the keyword to generate a list, and then as an argument we can put the names of the elements that it will contain. For example, equal 1. This list will contain one element, the B element, and in order to get the value of B we can do the following: either double bracket A of 1. So now this is the value of the first element of the matrix. The first element of the matrix, which is B here, is a vector of length 1 with the value 1. So A21 is a vector of length 1 that has a value 1. It's equivalent to say A of B with a dollar sign, and now this is a vector again of length 1. It's the same thing. So in this list I can also hold a vector inside. So for example 1, 2, 3. Now the list A contains two elements, the B and the D. A of 1 with a double bracket again is this vector of element of length 1. A of 2 is now a vector because this is a vector of length 3 with 3 elements. Now this can continue, and we can say A of 2 of 1, and this will be this one here. A of 2 will be this element here, and so on. So in order to get the element that is contained in the ith position of the list, for example the first, the second, we use a double bracket, and then what this produces is a type that is the same type as this element and actually returns the type back, returns the element back. Now this is in contrast to the single brackets in the lists. So this one now is a list. I should stress this here. So this is a list. It's a list that contains the second element of the list A. So this one, for example, you see here is a list that contains one element, the D element, because the name of the second element is D here, and the second element of A is a vector that has the values 1 to 3. Okay, so I want to stress here that this operator is different than this operator. So the first one returns an element of the matrix, whereas the second one returns a piece of the matrix, which is so the first one returns the element of the list, whereas the second one returns a piece of the list, which is again a list, but it might contain a subset of the elements of the list. Now this can be extended, of course, and if I can write that I want the A1111, this is a list of 4 elements, all of them of 4 elements, yes, all of them have the same value and all of them are B. So for example, if I could save this in data structure D, this D is a list. It's a list. The length of this D is 4, and let's see the names of the D is BBBB. So the names of a list that do not need to be different. They can be all the same. Now to get the elements, again D1 is 1, D2 is 1, and so on. I'm not sure what will happen if I would say that D of 1 equals 3, for example. Now this list. And if I would get D of B, it returns 3. Probably it returns the first element with this name. Okay. So yeah, there are different ways to use the list. Now, since I use this operator, the single parenthesis operator, square bracket operator, I should also mention that you can do something like that. So this will be a list with the first 2 elements of the list A. So this single bracket operator is called a slice operator because it's like we cut a piece of the list and it returns a piece of this list, which again is a list. Whereas the second, so let me draw that graphically here, I think it will be easier. So if this is a list that contains different things here, now a slice of the list is the single bracket operator, and it will be just a piece from this box here. For example, it will be this piece here. Now this piece is still a list, therefore this returns a list. On the other hand, the double bracket operator is like we really take the element from inside. So this is not a list any longer if the element that we take from the list is not a list. So if this is a type whatever, this thing will return type whatever. Just remember that the single square brackets is a slice operator. It's like you cut a piece of cheese, what you take is still a piece of cheese. Okay. So this is for the construction of the lists. Now we can find lists in different places in R. I think a usual way to get a list is the following. If we have a string, so the string str is this one, I can create a vector out of this by splitting the elements of the string. So str split str with this delimiter. Now this will create a list here where the first element are the elements of this of the elements of the initial string. Now I think that this returns a string because perhaps let's try this one. to see if it works. If I have two strings here, so this function, the string split function, will create a list. The first list will be the elements of the first string as a vector, and the second element of the list will be a vector which is comprises the elements of the second string. So if I want to get, for example, these elements here, I must do first of all do something like that, and I get it. Or yeah, I think this is the best way to do something like that, and I get the elements of the list. If I want to get the elements of this string, I can type something like this, and I will get the elements of the second string. So str split is a usual way where I get lists. Okay, let's see now. Yeah, this is what I want to say about lists. That's all. During the class, if a list will be obtained from different other functions, we will discuss that.